Hello everyone, today's video is doing an oil change on a lawnmower. I'm doing this on a Toro lawnmower, but the process should be very similar regardless of which mower you're working on. To complete this job, there's a few things you'll need. First is an oil drain pan, or something for you to drain the oil into. Make sure it's big enough to hold all the oil in the mower. Some latex gloves to keep your hands nice and clean and free of oil. It can be a real pain to clean off if you get your hands all oily. And a funnel, ideally one with a long spout like this one. It's going to make it a lot easier, as you'll see. It's also good to make sure you have some paper towel just in case there are any spills. And it's also good to have a jug to put the used oil in when you're finished. I usually just use an old washer fluid jug. I also like to keep a second funnel on hand specifically for dirty oil, so I don't put dirty oil into my clean oil funnel. And finally, you'll need some oil. I'm using 5W30, or at least I was planning to, but I didn't have quite enough. So I'm just using some SAE 30. Just double check your owner's manual, but most mowers will be completely fine with any SAE 30 motor oil. Before doing any work on your lawnmower, you always want to remove the spark plug. So just find that spark plug wire and pull it out. It should just pull straight out. On mine, this is at the front of the mower, but on some mowers it could be at the side or kind of almost underneath. And there we go, it's disconnected, so there's no way that this mower can start accidentally. Next, you want to locate the oil filler plug or the drain hole. Mine doesn't have a drain plug underneath, it just has this little tube on the side, but you may have one on top or possibly underneath. Just look around under the deck. If you have access to the owner's manual for the mower, it will tell you exactly where it is and what to do. On my mower, that just means removing the oil filler cap and pouring the oil out. Carefully remove it, and this is an important piece to make sure you set on a clean piece of paper towel because you don't want to get the dipstick dirty and then put it back into the engine. That can cause some serious trouble. And even though the oil is nice and golden still, it's been a year since I last changed it, so I'm going to change it anyway. Before you proceed, just make sure you set the dipstick aside somewhere so that it doesn't get knocked over or any dirt falls onto it. And with the drain pan in place and the oil filler cap removed, we're going to carefully tip the mower up and try to be a bit more careful than I was and let the mower drain all the oil out into the drain pan. And then it's just a matter of letting the oil drain out. Initially the stream will be pretty quick, but fairly soon it will begin to turn into just a trickle, and then it'll really just drip out. And once the stream has stopped completely, and just keep monitoring it, you'll see it just get slower and slower. You can then tip the mower back up. You want to make sure you get as much out as possible, but it's very difficult to get all the oil out of the engine completely, so don't be too worried and don't try too hard to get every last drop out. There's only so much you can do. Tip the mower back up, and if you've made a mess like I have, you want to clean that up right away. Next, you want to put your funnel in the mower, and then you need to measure out the amount of oil you need. Most oil bottles have a measurement indicator on the side, and my mower requires 550 milliliters. One thing to point out is that most of the time you don't need the full amount. There's always going to be a little bit of oil left over, so it's always a good idea to do maybe 3/4 of what's required and then double check to see. I've got just over 100 milliliters left on my bottle here, and remember I started at 550. So to check the oil level, remove the funnel, grab the dipstick and double check to make sure it's clean, and then insert it into the engine, tighten it, and then we're going to remove it right away, and make sure you have a piece of paper towel ready so that we can check the oil level. And we can see that the oil is actually right at the top of the upper line. So the oil level is completely full, even though we only put in about 425 milliliters. And we're almost done. We just need to reconnect the spark plug, and then we can give the mower a pull, and it started on the first pull, which is fantastic. And I like to just let it run for a few minutes, and then we'll do one more oil change just to make sure that the oil level is still good. Okay, and now that we've shut it down, we will do one more quick check on the oil level to make sure it's still okay. Remember, we only added 425 milliliters, and that's okay. There was likely still another 100 milliliters or so in the engine. And you can see the oil level is still perfect. And it's that simple. Anybody can do this. You can save yourself a bunch of money and help make sure your equipment is in good condition and will last a long time. If this video is helpful at all for you, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I would really appreciate it.